Ciao ragazzi, LordTeox here and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. Today we're gonna talk about this amazing Perma Freeze team together. I will go over all the different character, talents, book, weapon, everything you need to know. Also we're gonna talk about pro and cons that this team have, follow up with some nice gameplay. It's gonna be so much fun, let's take a look together. Before we're gonna talk about all these different characters, guys, I just wanna make sure that you know this team doesn't require any fancy constellation. Even if you don't have this particular character, I will give you other options. So don't you worry about that. It's mostly about the elemental reaction you will have between Hydro and Cryo. So let's just start with the first one. Is our friend Xingqiu. He's gonna be our healer in the team. And talking about weapon, what I'm using is a Festering Desire. So Xingqiu really needs and like energy recharge. Unfortunately here I don't have the best option and that's the weapon I recommend you. So if you have a Favonius Ward, that's guys what you need to use on Xingqiu. The 40% chance you have to bring to 0 again is elemental skills, which have such a huge cooldown, is God for him. So unfortunately I don't have it, so what I'm using here is a Festering Desire. Other option, 5-star option, can be a Skyward Blade. Talking about artifact, guys, 4 pieces of Noblesse Oblige, what you need, Elemental Burst plus the 20% attack for 12 seconds, that's what you need here in Xingqiu. Talking about talents, guys, you need to prioritize his E and his Q. Not a lot in the normal attack, so I bring it to level 3, but you don't really need it. You can just leave it to level 1 and bring as maximum higher you can his E and his Q. Going back to the artifact, since I forgot. So, Hydro damage bonus on his Goblet, attack percent on his Sense. You can also use energy recharge if you don't have it. And about the circlet, we are going to use as critical damage, but you can also go with the critical rate. The main reason why I'm going to the critical damage, guys, is because thanks to this team, and I will explain to you in a second, you will have such a lot of big passive critical rate thanks to the different set plus the elemental resonance you will have in this team. So prioritize critical damage is definitely better. The next character we're gonna talk about, guys, is our main DPS Chongyun in this team. Going over to the weapon, what I'm using at the moment is a Serpent Spine with critical rate, and for Claymore user guy in this moment you will have such a huge option. I'm still waiting for the Wolf of Greystone, so I really hope I will get it in the next banner, guys. But if you don't have a Serpent Spine, you can go for a Prototype Archaic with this attack percentage, or since we talked before about critical damage, you can also go with a Black Cliff Slasher, which is, I don't have it, I didn't really want to buy it on the shop, so those are my 2 options at the moment. Of course, if you have the Wolf of Greystone, just put this weapon. Talking about artifact, we're going for a 4 pieces Blitzer Strider, and we start building out our passive critical rate. So we already got 20% if it's Cryo, and we're gonna get increase of 20% if it's Frozen. So since we're talking about a Perma Freeze team, here we're gonna have already a 40% increase critical rate, just I would say for free. So here, of course, Goblet with Cryo bonus, Sense with attack percentage, and as we discussed before, critical damage circlet. Talking about talents, guys, here it's a little bit different. It's gonna be our main DPS, so you should focus, of course, on the normal attack, and after you can go with his E and Q. I would say, especially in this team, having a very powerful Q It's a little bit more important than heavy in the powerful He, just because we were gonna struggling a little bit with some shield. So having a powerful Q who can deal a lot of damage and can bring more like the shield faster would definitely be a better option. So normal attack, Q and E, I will follow this order. Next character, guys, is gonna be Ganyu. So Ganyu now became, after Zhongli, one of my favorite characters. She's very good, especially in this team. She's amazing in general, and in this team will be a little bit more like a jolly role. And the reason why I'm saying that is because since she's a bow user, she can also deal a little bit of damage from far away. We will mostly use the charge shot, and if you feel threatened a little bit, as I said before, you go far away, you deal some damage, you wait for all the elemental skill to be up again, and you can go back in the field. The best option in this case I really recommend is the stringless. Not a lot, of course, for the elemental master, since we don't have any vaporize or melt in this case, but mainly for the increased elemental skill and elemental burst damage by 24%, which we are gonna use a lot. Especially her ultimate is gonna be up basically 99.9% of the time. So this 24% we're gonna get here is insane. It's so much damage. It's very good. If you don't have this one, you can try to go with the sacrificial bow. Same as I would say all the sacrificial weapon, you can opt for this 40% chance to this elemental skill be up again with 0 cooldown, but this is not something we really need on Ganyu. And if you want to deal a little bit more damage, you don't want to use this charge shot, and you want to, and as I said, deal more damage, you can go with the compound bow. Yes, will help you a little bit with the charge attack, but again, guys, what I recommend you is the stringless. Going for the artifact, what I'm using here is a Wondrous Troop, guys, 4 pieces. So increase elemental mastery by 80, but mainly increase the charge attack by 35. And the reason why I'm saying that is since it's our Jolly and we already have Xingqiu with a full set of Noblesse Oblige, having a Ganyu who can deal a little bit more damage, especially with the charge attack, it's better. Here we're gonna have a sense attack, of course, cryo bonus on the goblet, and since I still didn't find any critical damage, we went for critical raid on the circlet. Talking about talents, guys, we should definitely prioritize E and Q, and after is normal attack. Of course, guys, last character, but not less important, Zhongli. So we're gonna quickly go over Zhongli. We're in a Perma Freeze team, and Zhongli is here for multiple reasons. So first one, of course, is Dominus Lapidus. Amazing buff, 20% reduction of elemental and physical damage. So we really want that. It's gonna be like amazing. It's already huge in any team, so why don't use it? At the same time, the shield will protect our main DPS and also Xingqiu, since yes, he's a good healer, but it's not the best one. So sword around our character plus shield will really help. Talking about weapon, guys, Crescent Spike is my choice. Physical damage bonus. Zhongli in this case can also deal some damage, but at the same time the reason why I choose physical damage is because there are gonna be some enemy that cannot be killed by like some cryo damage, and having a character with a good and high physical damage bonus here is what we need. Artifact, guys, 4 pieces of Retracing Bolide, so increasing the shield. Of course we want more shield, and at the same time when you're protected by a shield we'll get more 40% of normal and charge attack. Talents, guys, is pretty simple. You should prioritize is E and this Q, and if you want to use it like me, and as we said, we need a character you can deal more physical damage, and maybe your Chongyun is not that great at the moment because you mainly focus is E and Q, you can go for the normal attack. For the character, guys, that's it. Let's just jump on the gameplay. I will explain you all the pros and cons of this team. So starting with all the good things about this team, guys, I would just like to say it's a lot of fun. So going around the map, try to kill different bosses and enemy, it's like they don't even have the time to try to eat you, try to attack you, because they're completely freeze. So it's a lot of fun, it's a very good reaction and combo you will get, and so it's amazing. Other things, guys, those characters you will have in the team, they are so amazing, so great that you can have it even in other team. And what I mean by that is there are no excuse for not building a team like that, because Zhongli you can use in any other team, it's amazing everywhere. Xingqiu is one of the best healer, plus Vaporize combo, plus it's a good character you can use as your main healer in another team. Ganyu, one of the best characters in the game, period, so why not just build it. And Chongyun, if you don't use it as a DPS in this way, so maybe the artifact can be slightly different, but at the same time can be used for burst your damage melt combo. So at the same time, guys, is you use less resources and less raisins, so even if you build this team, it's not a waste of your time or energy. Another things we can talk about, guys, is all of this passive skill you will have thanks to this Cryo Resonance plus the Blizzard set. So you will have at least 40 to 60% of critical rate on your main DPS, in this case Chongyun, for dealing more damage when your enemy are affected by cryo or frozen. And this is basically 100% of the time. So cryo for sure, and frozen maybe 80, but as you can see from the video, guys, it's all the enemy there all the time like frozen, so you will have almost basically a critical rate percent of more than 100, so all the attack you will do, they will deal an insane amount of damage. And did I say a lot of fun? Yeah, because it's a lot of fun. And what else? Shatters enemies. It's very good. You're using a main DPS with a claymore, you can shatter your enemies when they're frozen, so why not? And at the same time, this team has such a good energy recharge, so if you do a good and complete combo with switching between Xingqiu after Chongyun and Ganyu and Zhongli, you will always finish with your ultimate up again 99% of the time. Talking about bad things, guys, of course this team is not perfect, but it's really hard to achieve a perfect team in Genshin Impact. But in general, especially if we just think about the end game Spiral Abyss, most of the higher level in the Spiral Abyss, they're focused on cryo. So of course if you have a cryo/hydro team, you will not be able to kill the enemies in the faster ways possible, which means you will get less stars and less primogems and so go on. The other problem, guys, in the Genshin Impact in general, we have a lot of enemies with shield, and most of the shield, if they're not of course fire and the rest, but they are cryo. So we already have the Fatui Cryo Mage, the Cryo Mage in general, the Fatui shield, so there are a lot of shields made out of cryo that they're very hard to break with this team. So you really need to, especially in the Spiral Abyss and even out on the map, to try to focus this kind of enemy first, because otherwise if they pop the shield after, will really hard to break it. So you kind of try to think a little bit ahead before engage someone with this team, instead of just going and kill them. Also, guys, there are bosses in the game who cannot be freeze. So if you think about the new Geo Bishop big boss, he cannot be freeze. All the hypostasis in the game, they cannot be freeze. Of course you can deal a lot of damage, but still not be freeze. And also you have the, sorry for the accent, but the Rage is fine, all the different plant who cannot be freeze. Especially it's very hard to kill the one with cryo and break the shield. So overall, guys, again, it's a very good team, but of course you have some downside. The last things, and will be maybe one of the most important also, if you're a guy who or a girl who normally play the game with your main DPS and you don't think about the rest of the team, and for example maybe with Razor, or you're not able to rotate very nice all the character you have in your team and you just play with your DPS, this is not the team for you, because you need to be able to have a good rotation over their team, play a little bit with all the elemental skill cooldown, and so you can build up your ultimate again, so go up and freeze your enemy 100% of the time. If you don't do that, if you don't do this rotation, it's very hard to play with this team. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you learned something and enjoy the video. And to be honest, guys, if you can build this Perma Freeze team, it's 100% a lot of fun. So if you can, just do it. Before I leave, guys, I promised you at the beginning of the video, I will say a slightly 100% free-to-play option. So here we have Barbara instead of Xingqiu as our main healer and Hydro character, Noel as a Geo character instead of Zhongli, and here, guys, of course, we have the two Cryo character. So I highly recommend you to stick with this elemental resonance for all the reason I explained to you in this video. You have Keia, completely free to play. I got Chongyun in this past event, that's why I also choose to do this Perma Freeze team and video. But if you don't have Chongyun, guys, you can also use other characters, so maybe you can build Keia as your main DPS with the same artifact as Chongyun, and instead of Keia or Ganyu, you can go for Chi or Diona, or maybe we will have some new character coming soon. Rosaria is a Cryo character, so there are a lot of multiple options. I'm sure, especially at this point of the game, you will be able to move around your character and build this amazing team. Thank you so much again. If you have any question, just put it down below in the comment and let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.